Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're teaming up with QandAHelp to tackle a very specific and honestly pretty common challenge. WAEC Biology 2026, question 9. Now, we aren't just looking for a quick correct answer here. We are going to build the core understanding you need so you can absolutely ace this topic whenever and however it pops up on an exam. So, here is the challenge. The question reads, examples of non-renewable resources are, and then it gives us 4 different combinations. Option A is petroleum, water, coal, animals. Option B is animals, copper, plant, air. Option C is water, coal, plant, animals. And option D is petroleum, coal, tin, copper. At first glance, that's kind of just a lot of random variables thrown together, right? But don't worry, we're going to unpack the logic step by step. Okay, let's dive into this. The absolute key word we need to focus on right away is non-renewable. That is literally the magic key that unlocks this entire problem. The examiner really just wants to know if you understand the fundamental scientific classification of these everyday resources. So before we even try to evaluate those 4 options, we need to build our foundational knowledge. Let's get a rock-solid definition down. A non-renewable resource is a natural resource that exists in a strictly limited quantity on Earth. Once it's used, it cannot be replaced quickly. In fact, many of these resources take millions of years to form deep beneath the Earth's crust. Actually, fun fact, most of the coal we use today started forming over 300 million years ago. That was back before fungi even existed that could naturally break down dead trees. When you think about that kind of timeline, in the context of human history, once we use these resources up, they're effectively gone for good. They are entirely finite. To make this perfectly clear, imagine a sealed glass box just full of cash. You can reach in and take money out to spend, but there is absolutely no way to put more money back in. That box represents our planet's crust. And the money? Well, that represents non-renewable resources. Once that limited money is spent, it's not immediately restored. There's no magical natural paycheck coming at the end of the month to refill that box for us. It's a one-way transaction. And that is exactly how fossil fuels and mined metals work. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between our 2 main categories. On one side, we have renewable resources. Things like water, air, plants, and animals. Water cycles naturally through evaporation and rain. Plants and animals biologically reproduce. On the flip side, non-renewable resources like petroleum, coal, tin, and copper simply don't reproduce. They don't rain down from the sky. They're limited materials that we extract from the earth. When we mine a ton of copper, there is simply 1 less ton of copper left in the world. All right, with that foundational knowledge locked in, you are fully equipped to take down this question. We are going to use one of the absolute best test-taking strategies out there, the process of elimination. Let's filter out the noise and find our answer. Starting with option A, petroleum is a fossil fuel, so it fits our definition perfectly. It passes, but then we hit water. As we know, water is constantly renewed by the natural water cycle, so that's a fail. Coal passes because it's non-renewable, but animals can reproduce, making them renewable, so they fail too. Because option A mixes these up, the overall verdict is a resounding wrong. Moving swiftly to option B. Animals? We just established they reproduce, so that's a fail right out of the gate. Copper is a mined mineral, so it's non-renewable and stays in the running. However, plants grow and reproduce, and air naturally circulates, so both of those fail. Option B basically tries to hide 1 non-renewable resource among 3 renewable ones. Nice try, but incorrect. Let's examine option C. We've got water, plants, and animals, which are all naturally replenishing. That leaves coal sitting there like a lone island, trapped in a sea of renewable resources. Since the question specifically asks for an entire list of non-renewable resources, option C gets completely crossed out. And finally, that brings us to option D. Petroleum is a slow-forming fossil fuel. Coal is the exact same. Tin is a metallic mineral extracted from limited deposits. And copper is another limited extracted mineral. Every single item in this list fits our definition perfectly. We have definitely found our winner. So the crucial point is that option D is the undisputed correct answer. Petroleum, coal, tin, and copper. By selecting this option, you are confidently declaring that all 4 of these resources exist in strictly limited quantities and cannot be replaced quickly by nature. You didn't just guess, you literally proved it using science. Now, I want to empower you with a real game changer here, a secret weapon shortcut for your future exams. When you see a question asking for a list of non-renewable resources, you don't always have to agonize over every single word. Instead, just scan the options for instant eliminators. If you see living things like plants or animals, or naturally circulating resources like water or air, immediately cross that whole option out. They are practically always renewable. This shortcut will save you a massive amount of time, allowing you to zero right in on the fossil fuels and metals that actually make up the correct answer. You know you've pretty much mastered this concept, but let's make sure it really sticks. Let's lock it in with a quick, rapid-fire active recall session. Quick quiz number 1. Which of these resources is renewable? Is it A, coal, B, petroleum, C, water, or D, copper? Take a second. Focus your mind. Which one replaces itself naturally? If you said C, water, you totally nailed it. But more importantly, let's remember the why. Water is renewable because it doesn't just vanish when we use it. It evaporates into the atmosphere, condenses into clouds, and falls right back down as rain to refill our lakes and rivers. It is continuously renewed. Now, what's really interesting about this next one is testing your ability to spot combinations. Quick quiz 2. Which pair contains only non-renewable resources? A, air and water, B, plants and animals, C, tin and petroleum, or D, water and coal? Use that shortcut we talked about, scan for the instant eliminators, and the answer is C, tin and petroleum. You probably noticed that options A, B, and D all contained air, water, plants, or animals. By instantly eliminating those naturally circulating and living things, you're left with the metallic mineral tin and the fossil fuel petroleum, both of which occur in limited quantities and take practically forever to replace. If this breakdown was helpful, you absolutely have to check out QandAHelp. They provide this kind of in-depth, reviewer-checked explanation for all your WAEC, JAM, and NICO subjects. It's just a fantastic way to prepare smarter. Visit QandAHelp.com to subscribe and gain access to an incredible library of structured learning tools. I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on today. You know, science isn't just something that exists on an exam paper. It's the reality of the world around us. So, as you look around your room right now, at your plastic phone case made from petroleum, or the copper wiring in your electronics, ask yourself, which of the everyday items you rely on are secretly draining our planet's sealed box of non-renewable resources? Keep asking questions, keep observing the world, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.